Hi, everyone. This is Luz Corral, the credit expert at your Blueprint Credit Repair Services. And I'm so happy to have Mr. Will Pinto here with me from Sun Power. Welcome, Will.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Luz, for having me.
Absolutely. We've been talking about having a talk for quite a bit now, and
Yeah.
we're finally here. So we finally are making it happen. And I'm so happy because you're going to bring so much information about solar panels and why is it so important to have solar panels. So for all of you watching us live, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. And Mr. Will is going to go ahead and answer those questions for you. So first and foremost, Will, why solar panels? Out of all the careers in the world, why did you start offering that service?
Right. I've been asked that a few times, and it's such a shift also in my career because I went to school for accounting, business administration. I was in the entertainment industry for a long time, and they've asked like, why solar? And it's ironic because about maybe, I want to say maybe 10, 12 years ago, I was on a trip in Mexico in my stepdad's farm, and I see a field of solar panels. And I remember like thinking like, man, that's so interesting, man. That's the future. Especially like in Mexico, like electricity, like out in the fields was a little bit hard to
Yeah.
get to for the pozos, if you guys know what that is. Um, for the
How do you
water.
translate pozos?
Yeah, their water. What do they call them? They do have a
I know,
translation.
I know. I can't remember what it is though.
It's a well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Duh. So a water well. So obviously they need electricity. So I remember just thinking about that, and I remember who the president of Mexico was at the time. He was promoting green energy, and I'm like, man, how come the United States doesn't push for this, type of technology?
Of course.
And this is 12, 13 years ago, but I'm thinking, no, I have to be an engineer. I have to be like to get all involved in that. Never did I think that there would be like a sales opportunity where I can be in this career where I can save people money and I help my family at the same time because the solar industry it's very generous right now. So and we can still save families a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that's where I'm at. Like I found that opportunity, and here I am now. Like thank God, it's worked out. I was scared in the beginning. I'm like, what if I don't know everything? And just I educated myself, and I keep educating myself every day because there's new technology about panels, inverters, like what's important. Every home is different too, so
Yeah.
that's the short version of how I'm here.
100%. I feel like any career, I mean, if you really want to be successful, you have to put yourself in and submerge yourself as much as you can in information. You have to educate yourself and be the best at it. If you're really going to do this, you really have to be the best at it. When it comes to solar panels, there's so much information and so much misleading information out there.
Absolutely.
We get influenced a lot, especially my Latino community. We get influenced a lot by what happened to such and such, our neighbor, our cousin, our uncle, the uncle of the uncle of the uncle. And then I was like, don't get that. That's not good. It's this is the other. Can you elaborate a little more on why is a good option to go solar?
Yeah, absolutely. So solar isn't for everybody. I always tell when I sit down with a homeowner, I do talk about the ugly side of solar. Just like you mentioned, a lot of misleading information. There's been a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of people that got screwed over the last couple of years because just bad companies, companies that went out of business, uh, systems that are not even working. They're on the roof, but they're not working, and there's no way that the homeowner knows if it's working until they get an electricity bill, and they're like, "Hey, what happened to like I was supposed to be saving money? This doesn't work." So the moment that someone has a bad experience, they tell everybody.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? Everybody starts to believe. I'm like, oh man, like Fulanita, the neighbor got solar panels and they're not even working. She still gets a really high bill for medicine. It's got to be a scam. So we understand that. Now, the problem is that that system's probably not working. And the homeowner, like, how are they going to know that your system's not working? So we talk about all that. We talk about all the negative stuff that could happen, and of course we do our best to try to help in a lot of situations. A lot of situations, unfortunately, some people have already been like close-minded off, and they're like, nope, I don't believe in that stuff. I'm good where I'm at. Obviously, the utility companies here in California, they're for profit and they're not regulated.
Of course.
So the prices keep going up. And most people, it's just like gas, right?
Crazy.
And we don't notice it because we're thinking, it's just a couple pennies. It's just 6%. And the last notice that everybody got from SoCal Edison was 6% increases monthly.
That's crazy.
So I know that over here in this area, we're gonna feel it a little bit more because your monthly payments are 500-600 bucks. So 6% starts to add up.
I mean, let's be real here. A lot of people are paying, you know, there are people out there paying $1,200, $1,500 rents.
Yeah,
And those electricity bills can be the same as a rental. It's crazy.
it's true.
I've never seen in my life, and I've always been in the industry where we have to see people's utility bills, and I've never seen such high utility bills in my life.
Mm.
This is crazy. Myself alone, we've always used to pay $200, $300, but I mean, this last bill was 680.
So
The bill before that was 800 and something. We haven't reached the thousands, but I mean, we're pretty close. And let's keep in mind that it's only two adults living at the house, and then we have our daughter every other weekend. So that's three people living in a 5-bedroom house. I can only imagine if we were to have more people living there.
So touching on that, a lot of people ask me that. They're like, "Hey, this is the size of my house. I only have two people. How much would solar cost me?" And unfortunately, like you just mentioned, like, hey, it's just two of you guys, sometimes three, and you guys consume that much electricity. But guess what? The electricity isn't measured by like how many people are in the house.
Yeah.
It's measured by what you have on. If you have your lights, TVs, refrigerators, air conditioning,
Heaters.
pools, those are all factors in how many hours you're running your electricity. So it's very important for us to look at the consumption, not just look at the size of the home and how many people are using electricity or how many people are going to be using electricity. It's the consumption. That consumption is going to give us a reading of your patterns, of your consumption patterns.
Of course. Sometimes when talking to professionals like yourself or even myself, people want a quick answer, well, just approximately, can you tell me based on this and that, how much it will be? And it's so hard. And you don't want to sound like when you don't have that answer for them, because what they want to hear is you telling them what they want to hear, So unfortunately, and fortunately, you actually need to see their last utility bill, their last electricity bill, in order for you to tell them, okay, this is what you're consuming, right, on a monthly basis, and this is what we should go for. Why is that important?
It's very important, especially if you're on the ethical side, because like I've shared with you before, I don't really do sales. Like I don't like to do pitches and kind of
Convince people.
Mm-hmm. It's I show them numbers.
You educate them.
Yeah, like people lie, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
So I show those numbers, and the last bill usually helps me at least kind of have an idea. And once I get really specific, I ask for all 12 months. They're very, very important because each month it's going to show me the exact amount of kilowatts that were consumed for that home. And it's very important if you guys sit down with any solar professional and they only see the last bill, like that's a automatically red flag, because you really want them to see all 12 months. All 12 months will give them an exact amount of kilowatt consumption, how much you spent with the electricity company, to see if solar is even, worth it. In a lot of cases, it could be a misreading. What if I build that system too small? And if I build that system too small, guess what? At the end of the year, you're going to have two bills. You're going to have your solar bills, and you're going to get an electricity bill because the professional didn't size your system accurately.
But is that at the end of the year or at the end of every month?
Well, now with NEM 3.0, it's going to be every month.
Gotcha.
Yeah, before under NEM 2.0, it was annually. So now you're going to start seeing that monthly.
Got it.
We're barely starting to see the monthly bills with NEM 3.0, like literally maybe just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to see the differences in like the meter fee payments. So it's very important now to look at every single detail, like if your system produced, make sure that your batteries are running, monitor your system, like make sure that your system's working accurately. Whatever company that you decided to go with, just make sure that they have monitoring as well. Just as well as it's your responsibility to always monitor the system, but it's always good to make sure that the company that you're working with is also going to monitor the system for you.
So everything is on your phone, right? You're going to be able to see everything that's going on with your panels and whatnot. I know that a lot of people out there actually, a lot of salespeople for solar, the reason why they have a bad reputation, one of the reasons is because they undersell you on the panels so you can have a lower payment for you to sign up for services, right? And then it happens what you just said, which you don't have enough power to enough energy a month to power your house, and at the end of the month you're going to start seeing those bills that are not going to be quite significant. So that's a reason why, right? Because they want to hook you.
I mean, a low monthly payment looks better. I'm like, imagine, you're paying Edison an average of $300-400, and here comes a solar payment of 150. Who's gonna say no?
Exactly.
But what if that system is so small that you're like, dude, you need more panels to produce what you are consuming?
Correct. And there's nothing like conversation. I think that getting to know your clients, like you said, every case is different, every household is different, every build is going to be different. So if I'm having a conversation with you and I'm telling you, hey, Will, I just ordered my Tesla, I just ordered my electric car, and it's going to get here next month, that's something to take in consideration, because why? Obviously your consumption is going to go higher, right? So you need to consider that into your your panels as well,
and
right?
it happens. You'd be surprised a lot of people are getting motivated to go solar, but they don't share because I'm like, oh, I'm getting an EV next month. And excuse me. And so like you said, we have to be in conversation. So now my next question is like, are you going to be charging it at home? Because some people don't charge it at home. They have like their work facility, like they have free charging. So I'm like, okay, if you're not going to be charging at home, great. But if you're going to be charging it at home,
which most of us do.
yeah, I mean, kind of that's kind of like the point of like going EV, right? Like you want to have the convenience. I want to charge it up and then not have to worry about I'm running low.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's going to be a little bit different because now I have to paint the picture because you haven't had charging yet, right? So you don't know how much that electricity bill is really going to go up.
Exactly.
And people think that like, oh, going EV it's cheap. It's kind of getting. I mean, it's cheaper than gas. Don't get me wrong, but it's still getting up there.
It's getting up there, absolutely. Yeah. And I can tell you from my own experience, we do have an electric car, and I can see the problem is that I didn't see the difference between when we didn't have the car to when we have the car. The electricity bill is almost the same. It hasn't really changed much. But I'll tell you what, my gas bill for gasoline for the car that I trade in for this car, I mean, I could see I probably have about $5,800 of savings just on gas last year. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
So the car itself, the down payment, it's already paid off. So it's just I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard so many horror stories, especially with being married to Alicia, which is a realtor. When it comes to like trying to sell your house with solar panels and they're on a purchase and the new owner has to take over the payment, a lot of the times the new owner is limited to a certain amount of money monthly to the max that they can pay for the new house. So sometimes that additional $200-300 takes them completely off that specific house. It kills the deal. So that's why a lot of homeowners don't like to have them. But with new programs like the ones that you offer, that's not going to be an issue. And yeah, so walk us through the process of how can people get in contact with you? What would you be asking for? And what do they expect as, let's say, yes, they get approved. What are the steps to follow?
So first of all, get in contact with me. You can call me. You can text me. My phone number is 323-640-1031. You'll also, pretty sure we're tagged on this video.
Yes.
So you guys can always reach me there. I read my messages. You guys can email me. They can get in contact with you as well. Get in contact with Luz. She'll get in contact with me. Most importantly, that electricity bill. Making sure that they're the homeowner and that we have an electricity bill. If you're worried about your credit and all that, don't worry about that. We got you. We're working, obviously with the most professional in the industry. Believe me, I've worked with a lot of credit repair companies. And let me tell you, like there's some Just like there's horror stories for the solar industry, there's horror stories. I mean, there's horror stories in all industry.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, I think credit repair is probably the worst.
it's it's for a lot of people they just don't believe it until like they actually
See it
see
happen.
results and you're like, oh my
Yeah,
god, my life is so much better.
absolutely.
Right? Like I mean, I get around way better getting a car out of the dealership with absolutely zero money out of pocket because they see my credit score and they're like, dude, take it.
Exactly. Red carpet everywhere you go.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
love that.
so believe me, besides obviously going solar and having great credit, don't let that stop you guys. If you guys thinking like, oh, maybe I can't get approved with solar because I have bad credit, we'll take care of that. We'll make sure that you guys get approved. And worst case scenario, if you don't qualify for solar for your home, fix your credit.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have a better
It's
life
always a
all around.
plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so one of the things why people don't get solar is because A, skeptical,
Absolutely.
right? And two, is credit,
Yeah.
right? So you don't need to have a perfect FICO score to have solar panels or to qualify for solar panels. But we can get you to where you need to be in order for you to qualify while they get you approved and get the installation going and everything. We're still working on your credit to get you to the perfect FICO score because that's ultimately what we reach for. You know, we want to make sure that everybody accomplished that VIP status, which is such a great feeling. And it's like anything. You don't know what it feels like until you have it.
Exactly.
Right? A lot of people say, well, I don't like to travel. I don't even like Europe. Have you been? No. I've seen it on TV. So how do you not like something? How do you not like sushi? How do you not like oysters if you have not never tried them? So until you have that perfect FICO score is when you're going to realize the life is so much better and so much easier. And even people treat you differently when you have good credit. Come on now, let's be real.
Of course. When you pull out that platinum American Express or,
Oh yeah,
they treat you a little bit different.
absolutely.
I've seen it happen, Now I show up because, I love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So now I show up to the airport like 2 hours before just to hang out at the lounge.
Oh my God, it's the best.
I just want to hang out in the lounge, have, have some food, have a drink.
For free.
Yeah, for free.
Those are the perks,
Those
right?
are the perks. And
those are the perks. And that's just one of the perks of having that American Express, honestly. A lot of people say, well, the 650 or the 450 annual, it's not worth it. It's totally worth it. If you see all the perks that gives you, and again, that's a perk from having excellent credit. So, I mean, you do not know what it feels like until you have it. So it's important for you guys to reach that excellence on FICO. When it comes to your finances, it's important for you to know exactly where you're at all times. Yeah. But now they send you the last electricity bill, and then you're going to set up an appointment, a consultation, right?
Set up an appointment. I like to do in person. That's how I like to do business. I always like to do face to face. There's a lot of homeowners, of course, I understand that they're working, they have busy schedules, so they like to set up Zoom calls. I like to do a little quick phone call just to find out a little bit of details, needs, wants, what are their expectations. Once we sit down in person is when, like when we get down and dirty, we show all the numbers. Comparisons, there's programs. Sometimes there's specific programs that they may qualify for that other homeowners don't qualify for.
Gotcha.
Some cities offer different incentives.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like right now for batteries, because there's high fire zones, energy credits in certain counties. Los Angeles is offering like a different energy credit than like the IE. They don't offer that. So there's a lot of incentives. There's homeowners too that they say, hey, you know what? We want to own them. I know we talked about it earlier where like, Alicia dealt with,
a client,
clients that they still have pending balances. We talk about all those options. Some people want to buy them. And there's people that I will, literally sit there and I'm like, why buy them?
I mean, is that something you can really take with you?
Exactly. It's to me, I mean, I got common sense, right? And a lot of people in the solar industry might hate me for saying it, but it's a depreciating asset. Right?
Yeah.
It's not, it's depreciating.
Yeah, of course, because something new, something better is going to come out and you might want to upgrade it. It's almost like leasing a car, right? The reason why I lease cars is because I like to have a new car every 3 years.
Thank you. Same thing.
I mean, if I could, I will get 2-year leases. I just haven't got the chance. And I will trade cars every 2 years.
Absolutely. I would do like 1-year leases if I could. Like,
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Yes. I am I'm that person who will change cars as often as I can if I could. Yeah. So having that option actually is so much better. Me personally, what am I going to do? Let's say I do sell my house. Am I going to hire someone to come and get all those panels off the roof of my house? And I mean, And some people say, well, no, this is our forever home, and this is a. But here's the thing: you say that about cars. This is my forever car. Yeah. Cars only last so long.
Exactly.
You know, exactly. And yeah, it takes you 5-6 years to pay it off, and at the time that you pay it off, the car is worth $5,000, $10,000 if that. Especially the way the market is crazy right now. The car has already over 100,000 miles. It's only going to go so much further. You know, cars are not made like they used to be. So
anything, even down to your phones, they're not made.
Right?
They're meant to slow down after a year or two.
Yeah, so you can swap them for a new one.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're in the wrong business.
So that's what. Yeah, for real. So that's why I tell homeowners, I'm like, listen, I understand that you want to pay them, and trust me, like the company would love me if I take some cash from you. Like, right? Like, who doesn't love cash? Every company's, like whatever they tell you, they love cash. So my job is like, hey, I want to keep as much cash in your pocket because, okay, like, these are the benefits, especially us culturally, right?
Yeah.
If we don't own it, it's not ours.
Yes.
So then I'm kind of like the bad guy. I'm telling you, I'm a horrible salesman because I sit there and like, well, tell me, like, do you own your house? Well, I'm still making payments to the bank. Well, like, you don't own your house yet. The bank owns the house. You own it. You financed it, whatever it is. You don't own it. But you're in debt for it. You had to pull out a loan for it.
Exactly.
And now with the programs, like leasing, PPA, like they give you everything that you need. The panels, they're not yours, right? They're the companies, but it's also the company's responsibility for everything that happens to that system.
Yes, absolutely.
So the easiest way for me to compare it, and I tell homeowners too, I'm kind of cheesy with it sometimes too. I'm like their Spectrum stuff or their cable stuff, their boxes. I'm like, you didn't buy all those boxes, right? Like
you're leasing them. Well, as soon as you cut off the service, they're gonna want them back, and if you don't give it back, they're gonna charge you for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are the collections that we deal with on the daily basis. I forgot to return the equipment.
Exactly.
Or I sold it on eBay. You hear all stories, and then people get hit with those collections. You know.
And it happens all the time.
All the time.
Especially, they're sneaky with it. Because they cut you off auto pay, and then they send you that last bill that you're like, oh, we didn't know that. It didn't come out of my auto.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the only thing that's ever hit collections. I'm like, why? I moved. I didn't go check my mail.
Oh my God. And they're good at sending you to collections though.
For utility $50,
for $50, for $5, for $8. I'm not gonna kid. I do this for a living, and I was telling one of my friends, a realtor, and I said Frontier. No, not Frontier. I'm sorry. Edison.
Oh, yeah.
I had to call them because I had given a deposit for my previous office, so I had not received the deposit yet. So when I called them, they pulled out my name under my social, and they were like, "Hey, we have an $8.52 balance from that hasn't been paid for 6 months." And I'm like, "Wait, what? I'm on auto pay. How is it possible?" And then they pull out the address. It's a house in Ontario that I bought and flipped almost a year ago. They have never called me once to collect $8.75. I go, you guys are so lucky. And I'm saying you guys because you don't even know what I would have done. That I called you and you told me this so I could take care of those $8.75 because if that would have hit my credit, I would have been really upset. Because they don't even take the time to call you. Who's going to run away with an $8.75 bill? Come on now. So, they're very sneaky like that. So you got to be very careful. But with that being said, another thing I've learned is that, you think, okay, I qualify. Yes, I have good credit. I do need it. I love it. Then the roof is a disaster. The roof has not been upgraded for over 30 years. You have issues with the roof. What's the deal with that? I mean, that never crossed my mind, which is, that's where the panels are going to be at. So the roof has to be in good conditions. Otherwise, all of a sudden the panels are going to fall through, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if that's the case?
So in those kind of cases, obviously, yes, number one, we have to secure that your roof is in good conditions. Most importantly, because like you said, they're going to fall through, okay? We will not install on a roof that needs to be worked on. So we have a couple options, as we've done in the past. Now with the PPA, where we have, at least with SunPower, because I don't see this with a lot of other companies. And this is an industry kind of like inside scoop.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so happy sometimes when I'm able to help homeowners.
Yes.
Kind of incorporate it where money doesn't have to come out of their pocket to fix their roof. Even something other home improvement things, but
that's a huge expense.
Yeah.
And most people don't have that cash flow to pay for a brand new roof.
Some roofs can get very expensive. I mean, you can have Tio Jose do it for for 10 grand, but then you already know if Jose didn't do permits, he didn't, no warranties, none of this. Or you can have a professional company, and then, they're going to be a little bit more. They might be 15,
But they
20,
give you how many years warranty?
but they'll give you like 30,
30.
30 years warranties, single, everything. You're going to make sure that nothing happens to that roof.
Which is so important too, because let's say you sell the house in 5 years, 10 years from now, you're selling it with the roof warranty.
Exactly. And
See,
it's already added value.
It's already added value to
Yeah,
the
so
property.
that
Yes.
roof itself kind of pays itself. So I tell homeowners, look, if you're going to do the roof, and if you have money out of pocket, great, go ahead, do it. That's an option if you want to take care of that. But if you don't have those funds, I was like, let's see where we can help. And if we can incorporate it, you're going to do the roof and solar combo. It's going to be one still low monthly payment.
Gotcha. Yes.
And it didn't cost them a single dime out of pocket. We redid their roof. We added their solar. Some have even taken advantage of a little bit of extra funds, maybe even to, pay off some creditors or whatever it is. That's home improvement, okay?
Yes.
So just because it's on record, has to be
home improvement though. It is improvement because and not just the roof. Sometimes they need those windows and they need the AC and the heater, which is essential. You don't want to be in the heat without an AC. You want to be cold, without a heater. So it's so important to be creative, and to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had a client who actually needed a brand new roof, right?
Yeah.
And you guys made it happen for him.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately the solar panels got installed.
Yeah.
He's so happy,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy. We're so happy for him. He's been wanting to get solar panels for a while. Everyone told him he couldn't.
Really?
Everyone told him he couldn't because
yeah.
I mean, solar comes to your door, knock on your door, and they will sell you. So he tried to get pre-qualified a couple times, and again, it wasn't because of credit, it wasn't because of income, it was because his house didn't qualify for it. Yeah. So for whatever the reason that could have been, I mean, they missed out on the sale. I'm happy for that because then he went with you guys, and you guys. You did an amazing job explaining him the process, the situation, how much money he was going to be saving, and everything. And I was actually, you sent me a video of our house, right? And I was counting the solar panels because I already knew how many solar panels we were going to get. But then I look at my neighbors and I'm like, how is it that the same house, same size, has half less solar panels than mine? And I've been wanting to see him. Yesterday, he was there for a hot minute, but I want to ask him because I know for a fact they undersold him. So let's say worst case scenario, if someone has been undersold, what can we do to help them? Or if someone has had their equipment but it's not plugged in, or how does it? It's not on the grid.
PTO, so permission to operate. So
Okay.
it hasn't been granted.
What happens? What can we do?
It's kind of a hard situation because once the installation company, once the agreement goes through, like home improvement, they've already kind of completed the installation, right? They're kind of set. That company's done their job, but obviously they still need to do the internal paperwork for it. But it's a little bit of a tough situation because
there's got to be something that
there is some contracts that you can void. Because if, let's say, we've had this in the past too, where if they paid cash for it, we were able to allocate funds for it, or if it's a financed, we're able to allocate those funds, kind of pay for that off, kind of clear the way. It's not ideal, but it's kind of a little bit of a tough one. We do have to sit down at the situation. Let's say your neighbor went with a PPA, right? So now he has to call his solar company, whoever he decided to go with, because it wasn't us. Bummer. But see if they can add more panels and add it to his contract, because there's a clause in, like, somewhere in there that says that you're not able to add so many panels during a certain time.
Really?
So you have to. That's why it's very, very important to make sure that that system. I actually rather design a system that's over than under.
Absolutely.
Just because we know that there's degradation of the panels, there's gonna be cloudy days, maybe even cloudy months, God forbid. But we have to, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
So if he got less panels, yeah, we would have to really look at his contract and see if, like, they could add panels. There is situations where we've added like a secondary contract, even though I don't feel that's kind of fair, because I'm like, damn, like, he's gonna be paying 2 solar bills.
Gotcha.
And sometimes it doesn't really make sense. Sometimes they only need a few panels. Maybe it's like 5, 6 panels, and it's almost like a little like unfair that, damn, I want to put you on a second bill with your solar that when that company should have just been able to take care of it. But yeah, it's hard to kind of get in there and like take everything off, void the contract. Although if there is a breach of contract with that home and the solar company, yes, you are in full entitlement of saying, hey, you guys breached the contract. I didn't get this. Boom, come take off your panels. I want everything back to how it was. I have seen that happen. It's rare.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
And that happens usually when they don't do their homework prior to giving a quote, right? Or to yeah, actually making them sign a contract.
Yeah.
Meaning like, hey, are we going to be able to get permits? Is the roof okay?
Yeah.
Is this enough? Are we going to be able to get permits?
What I notice, and I see this a lot in the industry, because you know that these projects they take a little while. They're not the most, like sometimes you'll see companies that install really, really quick, but sometimes they install without permits. And permits are so
It's
important.
risky.
It's very risky because, I mean, a company could get fined, but what they do that so like the customer doesn't run. So they don't like, go and, oh, you know what? No, I found another company, blah, blah. So they go and start doing the work. Yeah, it's kind of shady, but you see
very shady.
You see that a lot in the industry. They'll go and put racking, whatever it is. So you see a lot of homes that just have racking for months.
Yeah, until they get the permit.
Until they get permits.
That's so dumb.
So it's kind of like a way to lock in a homeowner, just like, hey, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you can't go with anyone else.
Yeah, because technically, like, there's clauses like that tell you, like, oh, you have 3 days cancellation. It's home improvement. You have more than a 3-day cancellation. You have until work is performed. There's a lot of internal work, of course, that the office takes care of prior, but until the physical work is completed is when that contract starts to be, an active contract.
At what point do you start paying for the panels? Is it when you connect it to?
Yes, about 60 days after PTO.
Okay.
So 30 to 60 days after permission to operate. And permission to operate usually can happen between 2 to 4 weeks after installation. Right now, the way SoCal Edison's working, they're working
moving a little slow.
They're gonna get me, they're gonna.
Yeah.
But you guys need to step it up, please. Whoever's working at SEE, you guys need to step it up.
They need to hire more people. Yeah.
Or no, because they'll hire more people. Well, you know what? Maybe they hire
Actually,
more.
they'll charge us more.
Yeah,
oh,
they'll charge.
shoot, never
They'll
mind.
charge everybody more, which
sorry for those that don't have solar panels. I love the idea of having a backup battery. It's almost like having that backup battery for your phone.
Yeah.
And you never run out. Because 2 years ago, was it 2 years? Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. My whole neighborhood, just our block, we lost electricity for 3 days. And it was literally the day before Thanksgiving. We luckily didn't have any plans. We had no food for the kids or anything like that. But most of our neighbors did. So 2 of them did have a generator, but the rest we didn't. So I found a person who was selling generators, and I bought one for each one of our neighbors. I called them and they were like, yes, get me one, get me one. So 3 days without electricity. Imagine people that either couldn't afford a generator or couldn't find one because everybody was buying them. Imagine all the food in your fridge going bad, especially the day before Thanksgiving. I mean, what I did, I put the generator outside because it's pretty loud, and I connected my Wi-Fi, my TV, my two fridge, and the microwave, and the crock pot. There you go. And we were fine for 3 days.
Good.
So having the backup battery, I mean, at least is going to keep us good for a few days, right?
It's a lifesaver. And I think here in California, like, we prepare for like the big one or any natural disaster. I don't think we prepare enough. Sometimes I think we take it too lightly, like, the big
it's not going to happen.
But what happens when it does happen?
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot more of these blackouts in the last couple of years.
Getting hotter and hotter.
Getting hotter. These rolling blackouts during the summer, especially the area where we're at over here is you're starting to see them a little bit more often. And the backup is a lifesaver right there, because, like you said, it's not forever. I mean, it's not going to be days, but as long as the sun is shining, it's recharging. Like, it's that power bank.
Yes.
So you guys, it would keep your essentials, your refrigerator, your telephones, your internet. Make sure the internet's connected, because without Wi-Fi, people start to go crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So having your phones plugged in, like, that's gonna be like the essentials that you guys you guys have that ¿cómo se dice? Peace of mind,
Yes,
right?
it's peace
So
of mind.
it's just like, hey, like something
It's
happens.
okay.
Sun,
Everything's gonna be
the
fine.
sun's shining. I was like, cool, the battery.
Some people don't even know how to open their garage door manually.
Yeah.
So it's things that are so simple.
Yeah.
Um, I am a very high tech person. I love technology, so anything and everything that can make my life easier, I utilize. My whole house is almost a smart house. Like everything I have on my phone.
Yeah.
So having that option to have everything on your phone and knowing the applications and I call it algorithms, like, hey, I had my in-laws at the house this weekend and my bill went this, we spend this much more, and then we turn on the heater for the pool, for 2 days we're having a party and we spend this much more. It's always good to learn the algorithms, knowing exactly where it's taking you and where has taken you before, so either you keep doing it or you don't do it, right? Now, last but not least, when it comes to maintenance on panels,
Mm-hmm.
what's the process?
Maintenance as far as like making sure that the system's working accurately.
Hmm.
So both you and the company, which is us, are going to be monitoring the system. So anything that like we see that a panel's not functioning, you're going to have a team. You're going to get a phone call or a text message just notifying you, hey, a team is going to be out there. They're going to be working on this, panel, on this inverter, something that's offline. That's for all the maintenance that you have to worry about. Cleaning and all that stuff is probably like what you is recommended once or twice a year. Obviously, the cleaning of the panels, they're very, very easy. There's companies out there. It's like a car wash
Yeah.
that kind of just clean your panels. You can get up there if you can. Your house is pretty high, so I would recommend don't do
Someone.
hire someone. It's like a car wash. So they
Yes.
just come clean the panels. That's all you really need, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
make sure that it cleans off any bird poop because yeah, just like your windshield, like if your
Yeah.
windshield's dirty, like you can't see. So people forget that too, and like they see a lot of systems and like, oh, they're not producing. Well, like when was the last time you cleaned them? I'm like, I haven't
Uh-huh.
ever.
Exactly.
I'm like
A lot of people don't talk about that. So I'm very anal like that, so I pay attention to all of that. Like, what's the maintenance? What this? What's the other? How much am I really going to save? How much am I really going to spend? So it's important for us to share that information with people out there.
It's pros and cons, right? It's like I've shared before. It's like a diet,
Yeah.
It's like you got to make sure like if we're going on this diet, we're gonna save money,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some rules,
Yes.
and make sure that we follow those rules because if we start going on on cheat days every day, we're gonna be back of where we
Where we
were at
were at,
before,
but
or worse.
and it's not going to work.
And it's not gonna
And
work.
then you're going to blame it on the
And
diet.
then that's when you're gonna say these diets are a
Don't
scam.
work.
And that's how the scam ends up being. It's just it's unfortunate that when you don't follow the rules and you have a bad experience, bad outcome, you call it a scam.
Yes.
It's like
It's
imagine
true.
we called cars a scam. It's like
Yeah.
we've all had someone with a bad experience with a car, lemon laws,
It happens.
and it happens. We can't say all cars are a scam.
Yeah.
It's just some cars
Or better than others.
are better than others. Some years were
Exactly. Or just that car in particular came out wrong, or whatever.
human error.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just we always find something negative before we find something positive, and
Yeah.
that's the human nature. Yeah.
We're talking about it. You get one bad review and everyone will know about that bad review. But you get tons of good reviews. Well, actually, you get an unhappy client and they'll make sure that everybody knows that they're unhappy. But you get tons of happy clients, and that happens to us too.
Yeah.
And they don't even acknowledge, the effort or the actual work that has been done. Um, Me particularly, we have clients that we have removed repos, $36,000, $40,000 collections. We have a client with an $80,000 medical collection that we just got removed. And I'm talking about, that's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. And I mean, if we have clients with student loans that we help them get their student loans forgiven, and it's over $150,000, $200,000 worth of student loans. And how is it that these people are not sharing a review?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
even
would
a
be
simple review.
a simple review. It's so important. I'm all about reviews. I'm a Yelper big time, Google big time. So I love reviews, and I really don't go anywhere without reading reviews.
Yeah.
So for me, getting those reviews is extremely important. But sometimes trying to get a review from a client that should be extremely happy with your services is so hard. But yet the ones that are not happy because we removed 24 negative items, but not one,
Yeah.
they make sure to go and talk about that one,
Yeah.
but they forget to mention, oh, but they did remove 24 negative items. So it is important for all of us, to help each other out and help businesses like us to actually get those reviews that really do matter for us. Because if you have a 5-star review and you put it on there exactly what you're doing and everything, people are going to trust you more. People are going to come to you. People are going to feel like they already know you. So with that being said, where are your clients coming from? Most of your clients.
Most of my clients are referrals. Thank God. I work with a lot of professionals like yourself, and they trust us. They trust me, and that's where my line of a lot of Instagram, a lot of we've made so many friendships, referral partners through social media. So I'm very grateful for that. But we do have a list of like guys that go out. They sometimes they do door knocking. So sometimes they come with good intentions. They're there to serve a purpose. I know that a lot of people get slam the doors at them, and I'll go out there sometimes with them, and it's kind of harsh. So if someone comes knocking on your door, don't be so harsh on them. It's like, man, I'm here to help, but
yeah,
like, ouch. But yeah, you can find us. I mean, I think the best business always comes from like someone that they've already had like a good experience. Hey, I know someone. Let me get you in contact with them.
yes.
And that's always been like I feel like a more solid,
Oh yeah,
business.
it's a hot lead
Yeah,
because they already feel like they can trust you because you came from a good source.
exactly.
So that's why it's so important, our reputation, right? So we can't do people wrong because then that reputation is going to be damaged.
Absolutely.
Um,
To me, I think that's everything. I was like, if the moment you screw someone over for $1, like
yeah, it's crazy.
it's gonna follow you for a very long time, and you can't.
No, you can't afford to do that because you're going to lose more business and actually gain more business. So, it's so important. I mean, honestly, guys, we can talk about solar panel and going green for days because why wouldn't you, right? But I want to make sure that everybody has the information here, and a lot of our viewers are going to be realtors, lenders. So I want to make sure that they know when you're selling the house and a lot of buyers are going to ask, I wonder how much the electricity bill is. And a lot of the times they request the last electricity bill from the previous owner to actually look and see it. So for them to do their calculations, a lot of them are first time buyers and they want to make sure that they're going to be able to afford the house, not just the payment, but everything that comes with the house. So for all of you guys, it's important that you guys can refer those clients to Will, and let him know that if they're considering solar panels, they do have to wait at least 2 to 3 months to see their electricity bill. Because anyone else that goes in there with no previous electricity bills, it's not going to give you the proper system, right? You need to see that first. Because the previous owner might have had 10 people living there, might have had gamers that were on their computer and everything all day long. And you come in with 2 or 3 kids and a small family and you're super careful with everything else. So it's going to be a completely different thing. You might not even benefit from solar panels.
True.
Right?
That's true.
So whether you do or not, the education is going to be there. The knowledge is going to be there. And it's up to you for you to choose, right?
As a matter of fact, I'm working on one like that right now. A realtor referred me over, like her and her husband are trying to go solar. They just got the house about a month and a half ago. And I tried sharing with her. I'm like, hey, listen, like, we should wait a little while. I'm like, oh my husband's already researched 2 other companies. I think we're gonna go with this one. And what am I there to do? Like, stop them? I don't want to block that game, but at the same time, like, hey, check this out. Maybe you should listen. Let's have a quick chat. Maybe have you guys both understand that what that company is doing is maybe not the most ethical because I mean, who knows? Maybe that system's too small. Maybe it's too big.
Yeah.
Like, let's sit down, let's find out. Like, sometimes it's okay to wait. Like, whoever's trying to push you to pressure you, I get it. It's a sales game, I guess, in a way. Everyone has a goal, and they try to pressure that homeowner. I don't like pressure. Like,
but it's common sense. I mean, how can you sell me something if you haven't seen? It's almost like going to the doctor. Some people do call us and say, hey, I have this and this on my credit. How much would you charge me?
Yeah.
And for me, they want an answer that I can give them. And a lot of companies out there, unethical companies, will tell you 500 across the board. Don't worry about it. We're going to delete everything.
Yeah.
And those are the companies that actually don't follow through because $500 is not going to make it, you need to pull their credit. You need to see all three credit bureaus. You need to see exactly where they're at, what collection, da da da. You need to see all this information in order for you to give me a quote, right? And
Yes.
that will be a personalized consultation. And that's exactly what you do.
Correct.
Number one. Number two, it makes sense. Why? Because how can I go to the doctors and explain to the doctor to tell me what's wrong with me without x-rays, without blood work, without this, without the other? They need to see what's going on internally in order for them to give you the outcome, right?
Exactly.
So it's exactly what what clients need to understand. If someone is telling you how much it's going to cost you without really considering all the parts, they're most likely underselling you or overselling you,
Correct.
right? So wait. The world's not going to end.
Yeah,
Just wait another month.
Yeah.
Look at it, and then that way you can get the specific size that you need and specific system that you need if it's going to benefit you. Because if it doesn't benefit you, a lot of clients out there are in special programs with the government, so they have a special pricing. And sometimes it's higher to get solar than to actually, to stay where they're at. So come on. I mean, there are so many reasons on why you should wait until you have at least 3 months of your own electricity bill.
Correct.
So what's the way to contact you, Will? Let's share your information again. I know I'm going to put it right here, but I need you to share with everyone how can they, what's the best way for them to put you in contact with the potential lead?
Great. The easiest way, I always like to do a text message. A group text message is always nice.
Yes, I love that.
323-640-1031. My Instagram handle is will.solarenergy. Either one of those is fine with me. You guys can get in contact with me. I'll schedule a quick call with them. There's my Calendly on there where they can schedule the call as well. So those are the best ways to get a hold of me.
It's almost like a soft introduction, right? It makes clients feel a lot better when you get introduced to a professional like that. That works for me too.
Yeah.
And let's make sure that our homeowners out there that have a credit with issues with credit and can get qualified for solar panels because of credit, that they give us a call, get your free consultation. It is not the end of the world. We're going to be able to help you, whether it's now or in a month or 2 months, but you got to be proactive and do something now, right? Let's set up the appointment. It's a free consultation. Obviously, you guys are on our IG, but we're going to be sharing all that information. Thank you so much, Will, for being here and sharing all this information with us. It's crucial and super important. And we can't wait for the next installation. I llove your videos, by the way, the before and after.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Luz.